Welcome to Biology Crash Course Session 5. In this module, we will be learning about the parts of the alimentary canal, namely small intestine and large intestine. In the last module, we had learned that the stomach continues into the small intestine by means of an opening called as the pyloric orifice. And this pyloric orifice is guarded by a sphincter muscle called as pyloric sphincter, which regulates the passage of food from the stomach into the small intestine. In this module, we will learn about the structure and the different parts and function of the small intestine. The structure of small intestine is that it is highly coiled, it is narrow and tubular, and it forms the longest part of the alimentary canal. Its length is around 7 to 9 meters in length, and its diameter or width is around 2.4 centimeters. Its position is that it lies in the abdominal cavity and it is differentiated into three parts: the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. The first part is called as the duodenum and is curved to form an alphabet U or C. The two digestive glands, namely liver and pancreas, it opens into the duodenum by a common duct, and the name of this duct is hepatopancreatic duct, which gives out its secretions, that is the digestive enzymes, so that the food gets properly mixed with the digestive enzymes coming from the liver and the pancreas. The second part is called as the jejunum. The jejunum follows the duodenum and it is longer than the duodenum. And the last part is the ileum. It is the longest part of the small intestine and it measures around 7 meters in length and 2 to 3 centimeters in diameter. It is the longest part of the small intestine. It is highly coiled and opens into the large intestine in the lower right region of the abdominal cavity. And the major function of the small intestine is that it helps in the major part of digestion and absorption of the food. This is a picture of the small intestine. The stomach continues with the duodenum, that is the first part of the small intestine. Then we can see the jejunum and last part is the ileum. And the ileum joins with the large intestine, that is the lower right end of the abdominal cavity. Next is large intestine. The function of large intestine is that it absorbs the fluids and salts from the indigested food and collects and relieves the body from the waste matter. And the small intestine, it opens into the large intestine. And when compared to the small intestine, the large intestine is shorter and wider. It measures only 2 meters in length. It is differentiated into three parts: the cecum, colon, and rectum. First, let us see about the first part, cecum. It is very small pouch or sac-like. This yellowish part, this is the cecum. It hosts many symbiotic microorganisms. Symbiotic microorganisms are those organisms which lives in mutual interaction with the host. Okay, it lives in mutual interaction. So here the microbes are living in mutual interaction with the small intestine. In the cecum part of the large intestine, a blind finger-shaped process arises, and the name of this process is called as vermiform appendix. The name vermiform means worm-like. Okay, it's a worm-like process, and its function is not known, it's not clear, and is said to be a functionless organ in human and is called as a vestigial organ. Vestigial organ means which is not having a particular function. The appendix actually sits at the junction of the small intestine and the large intestine. It sits in the lower right abdomen. There are many theories with regard to the function of the vermiform appendix. One theory is that it acts as a storehouse for many good bacteria and it helps in rebooting the digestive system after it is affected by a diarrheal illness. Other theories says that the appendix is a useless remnant from the evolutionary past. So there are many theories with regard to the function of the vermiform appendix. Anyway, the removal of the vermiform appendix is not going to bring about a great impact on our health or the functioning of our body. So that's about the cecum. Next, we will learn about the colon. The colon is the largest part of the large intestine. It is differentiated into ascending colon. This is the ascending colon. See, the cecum is followed by the colon. So the first part is the ascending colon, which is running upwards. Then the transverse colon, which is running across the abdomen. This is the transverse colon. Then the descending colon. Okay, the descending colon, and last is the sigmoid colon. So four parts of the colon: the ascending, the transverse, the descending, and the sigmoid. The descending colon continues into the rectum. This is the rectum part, and the rectum, it stores the feces temporarily, and it opens out through the anus, the opening of the alimentary canal, that is the anus. Again, the anus is guarded by a sphincter muscle. Sphincter means a ring-shaped muscle which guards the opening and closing of the anus. Dear children, in this module, we learnt about the structure of small intestine and large intestine. The small intestine consists of the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. The large intestine consists of again three parts: the cecum, colon, and the rectum. The rectum opens out through the opening called as anus, which is protected by a ring-shaped sphincter muscle. Thank you.